Welcome to the Cynthia Nyamae Show. Now, today's topic is a bit difficult and sensitive. We're talking about race. And I had to call a friend of mine to make it a bit more easier and open to talk about. She has been able to break those barriers and the stereotypes. And she's coming up shortly. Shiksha Arora is a news anchor, dancer, and one of the most sought-after content creators in the country. She won hearts of Kenyans through her viral dance videos on social media at the height of COVID-19, earning her the title The Dancing Anchor. It is discernible that she does not limit herself to one thing, and through her unflinching determination, this multi-talented powerhouse is here to stay. How does she manage to stay trendy while not losing her credibility as a news anchor? We find out on the Cynthia Nyamae Show. Thank you, Shiksha Arora, for joining us today. I'm wondering how this is going to turn out. Workmates and
stroke friends.
It's very, very good friends.
It's going to be good.
And congratulations. I love the glow, honeymoon glow.
I think it's the sweat right now, but it's fine. We can call it glow.
Tell me, let me take you a bit way back. We'll still talk about marriage, wedding, and so on. You're not running away from that one. But tell me a little bit about yourself. I was trying to find out, apart from this, when we talk and the stuff I know about you, about your childhood. Yes. Where did you grow up, and while you were growing up, what was life like?
I grew up in a middle-class Kenyan household. My mom comes from India, but she's been here for, the entire time that she's been married to my dad. And my dad is a third-generation Kenyan. Now, by that I mean his grandfather was born here, and which is why I'm a fourth-generation Kenyan. And yeah, just, growing up in my lovely little home with my mom and my little sibling, my younger brother, and just, living in a very close-knit family. We've got a beautiful bond that we share. And I've always been that chatterbox in the house, loved talking, which obviously has translated to who I am today. And yeah, I just feel like I've always been that little girl that you see running around behind her mom, wanting to be like her mom in everything that she does. Yeah. Yes.
So you went to school in Kenya?
Yes.
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 It's interesting you say middle class,
yes.
and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
This is a topic that I've always wanted to talk about.
Right.
I think it's easier because you're my friend.
Yeah.
But, people don't, especially in Kenya, would not expect, and I'll tell you the name we call you, Mwindi, would not expect a Mwindi say, oh, I grew up in a little home, middle class, and we're like, what's a middle class? So what was life, growing up as a Mwindi in Kenya? Have you always felt like you're Kenyan? Or sometimes do you get that name and a stare like you're not really a part of us? Yeah.
Of course, I feel like there's times where people will never differentiate you from everyone else, just purely based on the fact of the color of your skin, right? That's one thing that will stick, because at the end of the day, yes, I am of Asian origin, I am of Asian ethnicity, but I'm Kenyan. I'm born and brought up in Kenya. So that's something that I feel it's taken a long time for me to try and explain to people, about who I am, where I come from, and my identity. I feel like these are stereotypes that we've seen passed down generations, and I feel like these are things that we've heard people talk about for years. But now I feel like the generation that I'm in, we are onto something. We're trying to show people that, we're not just your average rich Mwindi businessman coming from Parklands, right? We are very diverse in what we do, and we are very Kenyan. So now, at times, if someone calls me a Mwindi, I don't think it phases me anymore, because I'm just like, this is what people have associated me to who I am, and of course to where I come from. But at the end of the day, I'm Kenyan, and I don't need to prove it to anyone else, right? I'm Kenyan, and that's going to stick, and that's going to be who I am for the rest of my life. So it doesn't really faze me, it doesn't really bother me. And to the people who call me Mwindi, I am Mwindi, but I'm Kenyan at the end of the day.
Yes. Yeah. And what are some of those stereotypes, being called Mwindi, expecting that you'd be really rich.
Wealthy,
Yes,
right.
yeah.
We eat a lot of chili, of course. That's a stereotype that I feel everyone knows.
Yes.
But yes, I do eat a lot of chili. Apart from that, you know, we have a dot on our heads.
Yes.
That's what people, you know,
Yeah.
every time anyone sees an Indian, for instance, they would just associate them as being this wealthy person who sells hardware parts in
Yes.
Kijabe street with a dot on their forehead.
Yes.
But no, that's not who we are.
Yeah,
you know, I feel
yeah.
like now we are very, very diverse
Yeah.
in our ethnicity, in fact, as well as the fact that we do different things. We have different occupations. We belong in different areas of Kenya.
Yeah.
You know, we come from different counties, because if you go to Meru, for instance, you know, Meru has a lot of Kenyan Indians, and these are people who have intermarried as well. So I feel like these are stereotypes that will take a long time still to kind of break, but we're getting there. Yeah. And there'll be instances where people will still use that stereotype on you, but you have to accept it, and you have to just try and prove them wrong just by being who you are, and not trying to show them, and not trying to be, you know, fake who you are. At the end of the day, I'm Kenyan, as I said, and I feel like when you talk to me, when you see, you know, who I am, when you interact with me, it's very obvious. Because I feel like it's just who I am.
Yeah. Right. And how do we break those stereotypes?
By not being, not clustering in groups, for instance. You know, I feel like this is something that I've talked about a couple of times on my social media as well. I've had this conversation, and I'm sure you've read it as well, where I talked about how, you know, Kenyan, Indian, what are they called? Landlords, yes. That's the word. Yeah. Kenyan Indian landlords, for instance, you know, they don't allow people who are from other races to come and live in their houses. So I've had this conversation before.
And the rules are like,
and the rules are very
vegetarian.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
So it's not something to do with being racist. I feel like it's a cultural thing, right? And that's because of what they eat, for instance, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, you know, the lifestyles they lead. So these are things that I feel we need to start talking about. You know, having these conversations openly, as you and I are having, is going to be the first step to initiating the change, and of course, the transformation of people's mindsets and breaking these stereotypes at the end. So I feel like just talking about it and explaining to people who you are, because we've been a very closed community for a long time. We don't talk to people about, you know, what our beliefs are. We don't talk to people about what our practices are. So because of that, people don't really know, you know, what our mindset is and why we are the way we are. So having these conversations, being more open-minded, having a very diverse friend circle, intermarrying, for instance, these are things that I think will help in breaking those stereotypes. Yes.
Yeah. Because when I was looking at your beautiful and glamorous wedding photos, it occurred to me, I was like, oh, actually, I've never been to an Indian wedding. Right. And I was wondering, I wonder, what are you supposed to wear? What kind of sari are you supposed to wear? But I think also sometimes when we don't know, we are afraid, and then and then we come up with our own stories because we simply don't understand. I don't understand your realities. Are we likely to see, do you think in the future, even as we're talking about stereotypes, we're likely to see intermarriage?
Of course. I see it happening in the near future, in fact, because I feel like our mentality, especially for the current generation, we are very liberal. You know, for us, love is love at the end of the day, and it doesn't matter where you come from, your background, your race. If you fall in love with someone, I feel like you should just, you know, go for it. Because yes, there will be restrictions. Yes, the community will, you will face backlash from your people. You will be able to, you'll not be able to be accepted immediately, of course, because you know, we have come from generations of colorism, and I think it hails from the British rule, right? Because that's where it stems from. And I feel like this is something that has taken a long time. But yes, as of now, I know personally of people who have intermarried. I have a friend who is Indian and she's married to a Nigerian. I have another friend who is Gujarati and he's married to, you know, a Jalua, right? Yeah. So I feel like we are seeing these cases of intermarriage happening, and there should be a time. This is my perception, that if my child came to me and told me that I want to marry someone who's not Indian, I would encourage them. I'd be very open to it, because this is something that, you know, shouldn't stop you from being with the love of your life.
You said earlier you're sweating. You're about to sweat a little bit more because I'm going to get up and personal and talk about your love life. Yes. That and more coming after the break. Welcome back. Before the break, we were finding out a little bit more about who is Shiksha, and I took advantage of our friendship and talk about a little bit about race. Now we're about to find out more about her love life. Again, congratulations.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Your wedding was so beautiful. Unfortunately, I was working. I couldn't make it. How many days was it?
3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 nights.
Wow.
It's a big celebration.
What is that like, planning for 3 nights?
Do you know, I had a really good wedding planner.
Okay.
So I was working side by side. Yeah. So majority of the time, I didn't even know what was going on. My mom, she was the one who was losing her mind. Yeah. I was being very calm. Yeah. And I was literally just, you know, on the sidelines, enjoying everything and watching everything and everyone losing their minds.
But I could tell by the dance moves, you know, the 3 nights. Yeah. I loved the dancing. That's why I was checking out the photos.
It was like a full-on talent show.
Tell me, how did you meet with your husband?
We actually met in Westgate during the terror attack. Oh. Yeah, so basically the terror attack happened. He was inside the mall. He was helping out, you know, with casualties. And then...
Shiksha was the damsel in distress?
No, I actually didn't notice him, obviously, because I was really in distress. Yeah. I sent him a message on Facebook because there's a video that was doing the rounds on social media, and he was a part of that video. And, you know, at that moment, I felt I was very... sentimental, and I was in a very dark place. So I was just reaching out to people who are going through similar things and just, you know, trying to have conversations, because I knew that having a conversation with someone was the best way to healing. So obviously I reached out to him, and then we started talking, and that's how we got to become friends, and then obviously here we are today. Yeah.
More details?
More details? You really want to know all the details?
No, I'll ask you that off camera. But let me tell me a little bit about, you know, that transition from single life to now getting into marriage. How is that like?
It's been very interesting, to say the least, because, you know, it just feels like you have a roomie who is now your husband. Yeah. So it's very interesting. You know, things I feel are very different because obviously I've been living in my parents' house for the longest time. I'm very close to my parents. So this transition has been something that it's taught me a lot of things. I've had to learn and unlearn a lot. And I feel like I'm still taking a day at a time, still trying to get used to it. And maybe I'll figure it out in future. But yes, enjoying it.
Yeah. Each day as it comes. It's a journey, and it's
a day at a time.
Yeah, it's a beautiful journey. Yeah. And I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
But tell me, what are your career plans? Because you've been in radio and TV. Yes. What's next for Shiksha?
I am really interested in getting into production. I feel like this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I feel like I have this itch to create content of my own, co-create with other people, and I feel like there is a huge demand for good content out there. So that's something that I want to do in future, and I feel like there's a lot of opportunities. So hopefully I'll go, you know, knocking some doors and something might materialize in future, who knows. But yes, I'm hoping to create some good content, content that can inspire people, empower people, educate people at the same time, and just be able to entertain. You know, so I feel like that's something that I hope for myself in the next few years. Yeah. Yes.
People love your content, especially on, because I stalk you, literally.
Cynthia Nyamai stalks me.
You know, I love your dance moves. Thank you. I enjoy all your videos. I love your content. But why are you surprised? Because you have a huge following. Why are you surprised that that kind of content, just dancing and you enjoying yourself, would get you such a huge following?
Do you know, I've noticed when you're spontaneous and you do things impromptu, people actually like that more because you're more relatable, it's not planned, and you're doing things off the cuff. And when that happens, people feel like, you know, I can do the same thing. And that's when they engage with you, they interact with your content, and that's when they like you, you become more likable. So I feel like doing things just randomly off the blues and, you know, just having fun, people enjoy that more than planning stuff. So it's been great. It's been a very interesting, it's been a very rewarding journey so far. I'm grateful for, you know, all the love that I've got thanks to my dancing. And I just feel like people have been very kind to me in this career of mine, and I hope to continue getting the love.
Yeah. It's because we can tell, when just looking at your videos, one can tell you have this pure heart and you're just enjoying yourself. So that becomes, for me, it's very calming when I watch you, and I really enjoy it, and sometimes try the moves.
Does it make you feel like dancing?
Not
Don't feel the energy?
Okay, I feel the energy, but I enjoy it. Not me doing it, I just enjoy watching you. So I'm not trying any moves with you today.
I was going to ask that. Since you're my friend, and you've been asking me all the juicy questions, you must shake a leg with me.
You also want to put me on the spot.
I must.
Too bad. Maybe if you invite me over on a Friday for your show. Tell me a little bit about your Friday show on KBC.
I guess the name says it all. Easy Friday. You know, it's supposed to be a very easygoing, calm, chilled show where, yes, you are going to be educated, you are going to be informed of what's happening in the country in terms of, you know, current affairs, breaking news, but at the same time, you also get to just sit back, relax, and enjoy a good conversation. So I've got entertainers who come on board, I've got, you know, dancers, I've got people from, you know, different fields of life, different walks of life. And I feel like that's what brings it all together, because people enjoy that. You know, apart from having a conversation as we are having, I also like to really dig deep into people's lives, and I feel like I also make them do things that they don't expect to do. So it's just like two friends having a conversation and just getting to know each other, as well as getting to know what they do as professionals as well.
Yeah. We talked about, you know, you creating your space, even as we're talking about race, but even KBC for your show, that's a show people were not expecting. KBC would have entertainment and dancing and so on. Where do you get the guts to do that? And you know, for a station like that, or when you're going to a new place, people will be like, we don't do things like that here.
I mean, I feel like it took a while for people to accept the change, but I guess, you know, this is what we're here for. This new generation, we've got new ideas. We are very different from the older generations. We've got a fresh, you know, mindset in terms of what we want to do. We want to be innovative. We want to be different. And I feel like that's what I was onto. So I decided that, you know, let's do things differently, do news, but don't do it the usual way. So that's exactly what I intended on doing, and I feel like it's been working out well so far. And hopefully it continues to, you know, create this energy that I hoped on spreading, and just like spreading cheers and smiles, but also at the same time being credible, being authoritative, and just trying to have the best of both worlds. So it's been great. It's been perceived well, and people in the beginning were like, you know, why are you on KBC? You shouldn't be on KBC. You should be elsewhere.
KBC?
Because I like to be able to impact, you know, a station that obviously has had a huge influence on people's lives in the past few years, the past decades, but now I feel like I want to do it differently. And it's interesting to know that a 50-year-old could also sit and watch the same show that an 18-year-old would enjoy. Yes. So I feel like I've been able to really create this playing field where anybody can come, watch TV, and have fun with it and enjoy it. It doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter where you belong, doesn't matter what part of Kenya you're in, but you'll enjoy the conversation. That's what I feel, yeah.
As we're talking, there's something that keeps on coming up about you, and you've said it, doing things differently. Standing out. Why is that important?
It's very important for me because I've never wanted to be boxed. Growing up, I was always a rebel. I always wanted to do things differently, in the sense I wanted to have my own space. I wanted to make a mark, and I wanted to make sure that people know I'm here to create this legacy, to leave behind a legacy where people will be like, wow, she really did know how to stand out. She really did know how to show people that she isn't just here to blend in, but she is here to make a name for herself very, very differently. So I feel like that's what I've been trying to do all along, because the truth is, once you start working for somebody, you know, you get boxed. And I don't want to be in a box. I want to be in a space where I'm able to do everything and do it to the best of my abilities, give my 200% and excel in everything that I do, because you need to be passionate. And I feel like when passion meets purpose, magic happens. And that's what I've been trying to do. I hope I've been able to, make a difference as well, inspire young girls out there who want to do the same and don't really know where they want to end up in life, but they can end up everywhere as long as you're having fun with it, and as long as you know that this is what you want to do for yourself. Even though it's 10 things, just do it to the best of your abilities.
Yes. I think this was passion and purpose because magic has happened. I've enjoyed this interview. Thank you so much, Shiksha, for joining us today. And I didn't know where this conversation was going to end up, but one of the things that has stood out for me is, if you want to create your own space and a legacy, you have to be true to yourself and stand out. See you next time.